I'm Austin Lugo.
I'm Andrew Harp.
This is With Nothing to Say.
Let's talk about Escape from Alcatraz.
Before we get into it next week we're going to be watching Stanley Kubrick's The Paths of Glory. This is a film I haven't seen in 7 years, but I've kind of been feeling some Kubrick lately since I did read that biography on the making of 2001, A Space Odyssey. But I want to do something you haven't seen, whereas
Mhm.
2001 I've seen quite a few times. I know you've seen
I've
it.
seen all these
How many times have you seen 2001?
probably at least like 3, 4, 5 times. I mean,
I mean, it's one of the greats. How do you not?
yeah, it's like I'm pretty familiar with it. Yeah,
But Paths of Glory is probably his first great film, in my opinion. The films
probably.
before this are good. Have you seen any of the films before Paths of
Yeah,
Glory?
I
And
have.
it's
Yeah,
The
I've seen like
Killing and
almost all of. Well, no, I haven't. I haven't seen The Killing or Killer's Kiss, but I've seen his even more earlier stuff than that. But I haven't seen The Killing or Killer's Kiss. I might watch this in anticipation of it.
you
I
should.
know The
They're
Killing is
both
supposed
quite
to be
good.
good. Yeah.
Yeah. I would say Paths of Glory is his first film as an auteur, as it were. It's kind of where he first comes into his own as a filmmaker. I think his earlier films are great in their own right, but there's still kind of some very novice aspects to it, where this is kind of here's Stanley Kubrick, master filmmaker,
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
to
you nailed
speak.
it. Yeah. Mhm. Okay.
But this week we watched Escape from Alcatraz,
Yeah.
the great Don Siegel. Oh, I love Don Siegel. He's so perfect.
He's really good.
Did
Mhm.
you watch any Don Siegel films in preparation for this?
No,
Nah,
I didn't feel like it.
not even Invasion of the Body Snatchers. You should have watched that one.
What did you?
No, I watched Invasion of the Body Snatchers. I'd watched
I've
it
seen,
before.
I mean, I've seen Dirty Harry as most people
Oh
have.
yeah, Dirty Harry. Yeah,
I mean, I've seen that one. I mean, that one's
the
good.
classic.
I like Dirty
Dirty
Harry.
Harry's great.
And you know what? Look, okay, look, Escape from Alcatraz, 1979. I thought that I didn't see this movie, but I did have almost right from the beginning, especially right after he gets into the prison. I
Okay,
started having like really bad deja vu, and I realized that I had seen this movie already.
like a long time ago.
Like I think a long time ago. I would say maybe as late as middle school I saw this movie, but I maybe saw it even earlier
Wow.
than that. In middle school, we read that book. Al Capone Does My Shirts, that like YA book or
Oh yeah,
whatever.
yeah. Cleans my socks. Is it socks? Is it
No, it's
shirts?
shirts.
Is shirts?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Al
I know. Yeah,
Capone like cleans or does my shirts or whatever,
yeah.
which is like about Alcatraz and Al Capone being on it, whatever, just like a YA book. And we either watched this movie in class, which is kind of hard to believe that, but it makes sense. Well, it makes sense because it's like in middle school we read that book, and this movie is very very much about Alcatraz, and it's super vivid and stuff like that, and it's a little violent and there's some nudity. It's not the most like adult film in the world. Like it's
You
fine.
could
Like
show it in a school. Yeah, it would pass.
yeah, maybe, yeah. But maybe I saw it earlier than that, like at an even younger age. Like I think maybe it was randomly on TV. I'm frustrated because I know I've seen the movie because there's some things that are very, very recognizable where I'm like, yes, I've definitely seen this movie. But I don't like remember like where or when I did see it. So it's very frustrating.
That's fascinating. I'm trying to think back to middle school.
I have no idea.
I mean, maybe they showed like a scene because the scene where he's at the warden, that scene in the bird cage and all that shit, like that scene's very
I
familiar.
remember various scenes though. I remember the end where they go on the raft very well. I remember
That scene's familiar
when
too.
the guy has a heart attack. I remember when he is chipping away at his grate. I remember like that image as well. I think I was
Yeah,
young enough to the point where I didn't even register that it was Clint Eastwood. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
I think like it was. You know what I mean? It's like he was like a faceless guy to me at the time. Like I probably hadn't even seen like Dirty Harry or The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly or anything like that. So I must have been pretty young, but I don't know. But I don't. I figure if I saw it in middle school, I would remember that. I don't know.
I mean, I would have also saw it in middle school because we were in the same grade in the same middle school. It would have
No,
been
I
very
know.
likely that we would have both seen it. But now I'm kind of
Yeah.
thinking back, and I kind of wonder if we did see this in middle school. Like part of me's,
I don't know.
but I,
It's almost it's so weird. It feels almost like weirdly ingrained in my brain. This movie when
yeah,
I was rewatching it, it was like I feel like I know it so well, but I feel like I only saw it once when I was like really young. But for some reason, it feels so ingrained in my
familiar.
brain. And who knows? It probably like made an impact on my like taste probably as well in a
The best of
earwormy kind of
ways.
way. I guess it did. I don't know. It might have. I don't know. It's definitely Will Sloan, podcaster and writer, one of the best people that you could follow and Twitter and Letterboxd and stuff. I think he said that this movie in his review on Letterboxd is the best case scenario when it comes to movie watching. And I think I tend to agree.
Yeah, it's everything you could want in a movie. It's got action, it's got smarts, it's got Clint Eastwood, which
Yeah,
I don't know if anyone else could do it. I think Clint Eastwood is just perfect.
he's really good at
is this a real
furrowing.
thing? He is good at Is this a real thing that actually happened? Because there's
Yes, this
like
is a
that
real
text
thing
at
that
the end.
actually happened.
Okay, so this is for real. Interesting. I love a lot of things about this movie, but one of the many things I love about this movie is Clint Eastwood isn't given some sort of sappy backstory or reason for doing what he does. Like there's no,
There's very little backstory in the movie,
it's great. It's just like he wants to escape because Alcatraz sucks. I mean, we know that he's a bank robber and larceny and all this shit,
and he loves escaping prison.
and he loves escaping.
And as we see, as we see it at the beginning of scene in the with the warden, he has a superior IQ,
I love that
which is
zoom in.
very funny. Superior IQ, whatever that means. He's smart, by the way, guys. Everybody, this guy, he's really smart. He's gonna outwit the warden, which he does, flawlessly. One could argue.
I love that scene. And of course, he steals the little nail clippers, and he's like, ah, he's already on the path.
He's already on it.
He knows what he's about.
The movie starts right away. About 15 minutes in, like the title of the movie is Escape from Alcatraz. It's like you're going into it knowing like there's gonna be some kind of escape from Alcatraz
Alcatraz.
Island, which we know what that is.
Yes.
And so the movie really kicks in right away, like about 15 minutes in, like, okay, like the escaping part of it has already begun. It doesn't waste any time.
And despite the fact that no time is wasted in the preparation of escapes, there's some really incredible world building going on in the
Yeah.
way the prison works and the interactions between the guards and the different characters. They all have
Yes.
their own little things that they like to do. You got Doc, who's the painter, or Litmus, who has the mouse, and so on and so forth. And they all have their own
Everybody looks really
things.
real as well.
Yes.
They look like real
It
people.
feels like a genuine prison. Like it feels like a little ecosystem and everything just kind of clicks, it works. And I think that's something that's imperative to a film like this because it could be very easy for this to become a sort of, actiony adventure film where the stakes don't feel real.
Have you ever seen Escape Plan?
No, I don't think so.
It's like not a bad movie, but it's kind of like what you were just talking about. It's like a movie starring it's a late
Wait,
period movie,
okay.
2010s movie starring Sylvester
Is it
Stallone and
Stallone?
Arnold
Yes,
Schwarzenegger.
yes.
Yeah, there
I have
it's
seen
like
this movie.
you have seen it. Okay. It's kind of like that where it's like they're in a prison and I guess it's supposed to be kind of like a science fiction-y type of thing, but I don't know. I
Yeah.
feel like if this Escape from Alcatraz were made today, I feel like everybody in the movie would just be like I feel like there would be too much effort in making everything like look really good. Like all the prisoners happen to be like buff dudes,
Yeah.
it's like The Rock and Ryan Reynolds. They share a cell together in the prison. That kind of thing just like would completely take me out of it.
I completely agree. Even Clint Eastwood, despite being the great Clint Eastwood, he goes a bit chameleon in this. I mean, he definitely
Sure,
goes into the role. I mean, of course, he's playing the classic no name, scowling,
how he did
doesn't
all
say
these.
almost anything, classic
Yeah,
Clint Eastwood. But nevertheless, he does feel as if he fits into the character. And that might just be
he does.
some great casting on point from the casting director, whoever casted the film.
Well, this
But
was like I think
everyone's
like this is Clint's fifth and final movie that he made with Don Siegel.
really. So he did
So
this,
this is the
Dirty Harry. What were the other three?
like Coogan's Bluff and like a couple ones. I think the
Okay,
only one that comes to mind is like Coogan's Bluff, and then the other two, like I don't know their names off the top of my head.
interesting. Well, he's great in this. It was the perfect casting choice. I'm glad they they made that decision. I don't think anyone else could have played Frank Morris
Yeah, he's really
quite
good.
as Clint Eastwood does it. He's got that superior IQ, man. He just knows what he's
He's got
about.
this superior.
So, do you think this was partly filmed in an actual prison? Because it looks very
No, I mean
good.
this set is too
I mean, there's
convincing for it
definitely
to not at least
sets.
be somewhere, or you know, the location looks a little too real for it to be maybe like 100% a set.
Right.
I'm sure some of like the backways and stuff like that were probably
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
manufactured to so they
Yeah,
could be more safe. Because I
for
don't think you
sure.
would want to be climbing around real rickety pipes and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, like on that note, you know, yeah, like the prison looks great. Couldn't really ask for anything more, you know. It's just kind of like a boring, placid prison, like the prison yard with like those really big, like
Prison
tall
Yard is
steps.
great. Yeah.
I like that, like where he goes up and he, you know, he becomes friends with English, right?
English.
Great character. He's really interesting. You get more background out of that character than you do Clint, even though he's not necessarily the main character.
Yeah, I would say you get more background of pretty much everyone other than Frank Morris himself. Like you learn a lot about these other characters, which it never feels as if they're kind of just doing that thing they did in the original Suicide Squad, you know, where they're given like all their statistics.
Yeah,
It
it's like
feels like they're building human beings and here are their wants and their desires and why they live. And of course, the story of Doc is probably one of the most heart-wrenching stories in cinema. And I think,
oh, are you talking about the painter? That's the painter
yeah,
guy, right?
that's the
Okay,
painter.
yeah, yeah. That character is like I remember. That's a scene I remember too when they take away his painting. I remember that scene as well when they take away painting is all I have. Like, oh shit, that sucks. Yeah, that character is great, and it's you know, maybe if you didn't have that in the movie, it would be okay. But it's almost kind
Sure.
of like that's also in the movie because it gives Clint Eastwood and his buddies even more reason to escape.
Absolutely. And I think what this film does so well that so many prison escape movies don't do well, especially when you think about a film like Escape Plan, the Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester
Yeah,
Stallone
maybe I'm
movie.
hating on that movie too much, but yeah,
I mean, it's not
yeah,
great,
yeah.
but it's not so much the film that's a problem. It's more the world in which that film lives in and films like it. It's a whole genre of films that has been built. And this is, of course, not the first escape film. The Great Escape, of course, 1940
Right. I was
or
yeah. There's a
45 is
couple
a great
movies.
film.
Yeah, Escape Plan. I actually watched not too long ago for the
Hmm.
first time in a while. I've seen that movie too. I also watched that movie when I was really young, for the first time, and I
Yeah.
rewatched it recently, and it's still an amazing movie. I love that movie. Honestly, it's great. It's like really long,
Hmm.
but it's perfect. Yeah, and that Escape from Alcatraz definitely yeah, it rips a lot off from The Great Escape, honestly. Like you know
Yeah.
when he like goes outside and he drops like the dirt out of his pants. That's right out of The Great Escape.
Yeah.
Maybe they did that in real life. That
Who
detail was
knows?
obviously added in because of The Great Escape. You know, like little things like
For
that.
sure.
It's just that this Escape from Alcatraz is like it's the new version of prison. You know, it's funny that the Nazi internment camp, you know, everybody, if you've watched that movie any recently, like I did, it's like everybody just kind of chills and hangs out and walks around, and they all kind of like live in like these little like houses and cabins and stuff, and they can do
Yeah.
whatever they want. And it's like, but in the new turn of the, you know, in this new turn of the century, you know, 30, 20 years later in America, we have these prisons where you don't go outside very much. You stay in a cell by yourself and just everything is even worse. Like the American prison is even worse than
Somehow
the at
worse.
least the Nazi internment camp. At least in the movies, you know, it's yeah.
Of course. Yeah, absolutely. But I think the powerful thing about this film and the reason it works so well, unlike so many prison escape movies, is because, especially more modern prison escape movies, is because so many modern prison escape movies build so much of their film off of the threat of violence and just the physical punishment of violence, which is kind of cheap, honestly. Like the threat of being hurt or raped or killed, like that's kind of a cheap thing to do. I mean, you're already in a prison, like
That's kind of happens in Escape from Alcatraz with the bigger guy that he meets that he beats up in the shower.
a little bit, but he's pretty
Yeah.
good. He handles himself pretty well. I mean, he's quite
Yeah.
the jujitsu master of sorts.
Yeah.
But I would argue the real threat of this film, and going back to Doc and
Yeah.
with the painting, is it's
Yeah.
incredibly psychologically just wearing on both Dirty Harry
Right.
himself, Clint Eastwood, and the viewer. I mean, just the drabbiness of the locations, how everything's just white and gray and bland, and how everything they do, you constantly feel watched as a viewer, and it just slowly wears away at you, and it's so goddamn
It
depressing in
sucks.
the
You're in the
best of
fucking prison with
ways.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and of course, that's like with the case of with Doc, he's like, it's established that he likes painting and stuff. He's allowed to paint on the courtyard. They take it away because the reason is
Paints the
weird. Like
warden.
the warden sees a painting of him, and it's interesting because it's not like a
It's not
it's just like a
cruel,
no, it's
just a
just like
painting.
a regular yeah, it's just a painting of him. Like there's nothing like unusual about it. But for some reason the warden, just because he's so, I don't know, vindictive or mad,
Yeah.
I think he just wants to send a message or something like that. And so he takes away his painting forever. And Doc is so upset
Great
that
scene.
later they go to like wood shop or whatever, and he he gets an axe and he cuts off his fingers, just like right there in front of everyone. That's also a scene that I think I remember from. That's another scene that I think I remember.
Yeah.
And I love too when like after he cuts off his fingers, Clint Eastwood goes and like puts it in a box. He throws like that's another great scene too. The whole scene, that part is really, like really really good. And like you said, it's just like the psychological weight of realizing that, like he says, painting is all I have. It's like it's the ultimate like kick in the ribs. Not only are you in prison forever, but you're the thing that you thought you had, you no longer have anymore. It's like that sucks.
And of course, he leaves the flower
Right.
in Frank
The
Morris's
chrysanthemum.
coat,
Yeah.
the
Yep.
chrysanthemum. Very powerful moment. It's haunting, and that's the last time you see Doc too. Like you never see
Yeah,
Doc
he's
again. That's
gone.
the last.
Whatever happened to him? He had like a nervous breakdown. He snapped. He
He
has
snapped.
schizophrenia. Whatever. It doesn't matter.
Who
It's just
knows?
gone.
Doesn't matter. But that's an intense moment.
That's a good scene. Yeah, and of course, like these moments, of course, make you hate the warden, right? Like they kind of, and he does other things too that are really awful. And right from the meeting at the beginning of the movie, when Clint Eastwood comes in for the meeting, which I feel like this scene happens so many times. Like I feel like I've watched this scene so many times where the warden talks
Every
to the new
movie.
prisoner.
Yeah.
Yeah, the warden talks to the new prisoner, and he's like, "Let me tell you how it goes around here. Let me tell
This
you how
isn't
this
like
place
other
works."
prisons.
Yeah, but his speech in particular is very good. I like his speech a lot. It's very cutting and to the point.
Quite direct. And you realize how little Frank Morris, Clint Eastwood talks in this movie, which I guess is very typical of Clint Eastwood. But there's very little dialogue from him. And honestly, there's not a whole lot of dialogue, especially at the beginning of the movie. I mean, I think the first 15 minutes is just him being transferred to Alcatraz and him getting undressed and put into a cell. And there's that great moment. He's completely naked because they strip him for some reason and they put him
Yeah,
in the cell,
they're just checking to see if he has anything, like
I
trying to sneak in
guess.
anything.
Well,
A
I think it's
cavity search.
also a psychological thing because they make him walk through the whole prison
That's
naked.
true. It's the whole it's all, yeah, you're right. All of that. It's all for a purpose. Yeah.
But it's a great cinematic moment. They close the cell doors. Clint Eastwood's looking as angry as ever. They're like, "Welcome to
Yeah,
Alcatraz,
that one Alcatraz, and
thunderclaps,
there's like
the
a lightning
light."
strike. Yeah. It's like a scene at a Young Frankenstein or something like that. Like, yeah, I remember that. I remember that too. Yeah, it's just like it's pretty hilarious. That might be the most unintentionally funny part of the whole movie.
Also perfect. It works perfectly.
I think it's fine. Yeah, yeah, it's good. It's good. Don Siegel, he's been making movies for a long time, so he
He knows
probably
the
will.
shit.
Well, I'm just saying that like it's a very, I don't know, 50s 40 thing to do, I think. Like the
Yeah,
use of like the flashing lightning and the adding piping in like the thunder sound. He's probably done that once or twice, but yeah, it's all good. It's all good. I like it all. But other than that, like movie's like pretty bare bones. I mean, it's pretty like
yeah.
not super flashy or
No,
crazy. It's just pretty it relies on its location definitely for it's set piece location to really that's really what it's all about, to kind of reel you in and kind of like keep you there just like they're there.
for sure. A lot of long takes in this film. A lot of trust in the actors and the location, and just these very patient movements. As you said, there's nothing flashy here, which flashiness just wouldn't work in this type of film. I think Don Siegel at times can be flashy,
Sure.
but the restrainedness is necessary for this film. It feels, as you said, quite bare bones. And our Frank Morris character, he's not some complicated character who's, has a
No.
dead wife and, has to get back to a kid or whatever. He just is what he is.
Another movie that I thought of while watching this movie is the Shawshank Redemption. That's another movie that really came to my mind while watching
That's
this.
basically a remake
It's
of
this movie.
this.
It's
It's
this
this
movie.
movie.
Yeah, it kind of it definitely look and once again, this movie it rips a it does rip a lot off from The Great Escape.
Right.
And
They all do.
Shawshank Redemption does rip off a lot from this movie too, and that's
I would say
okay.
even
Honestly,
more.
but I'm okay with that. It's been forever since I've seen that movie. It's fine. I think it's good, as overrated as it is. But
Yeah.
I do like how Shawshank Redemption and this movie, they like, I like how like both their prisons have like you said, like a nice diverse group of people who of all kinds of different ages too. Like both movies have like, people in the prison who are super old and feeble. Like there's just these like
Yeah.
80-year-old guys that live in the prison that are still in the prison for some reason. And then of course, and Shawshank Redemption, of course, has a big part of it when they get out and they're super upset about getting out or whatever. But yeah, that movie was on my mind along with The Great Escape while I was watching this for sure.
Yeah. It definitely both borrows from its past and is the predecessor to many films. Especially, I thought a lot of Shawshank Redemption because that film is very much to more of a degree than others. Though I guess when you talk prison movies, I mean, there's only so much you can do that's different. I guess your the scope is pretty limited on what you
Yeah.
can do in a prison movie. So to give Shawshank Redemption the benefit of the doubt, which isn't a film I necessarily like very much, although I haven't seen that film since I was in high school, so
It's been a
my
while too
opinion
for
on
me.
it may have differed.
I'm thinking it's still good. I'm thinking it's still good. I'll watch it again sometime soon. I think I have the Blu-ray of it that I got a long time ago. I mean that's just an incredibly overrated movie, but
Yeah,
I think there's a reason why it is. So maybe I'll watch it again soon. I don't know,
I see what you mean. Yeah,
but I'd rather watch that movie over. I mean, at the end of the day, it's like I feel like there's sometimes you like look at like the movie listings or what they're playing in theaters sometimes, and you're just like, man, like I would watch Shawshank Redemption so many times over any of these movies. Just like a movie that's about these guys in a prison, even if it's like super schmaltzy and kind of it kind of has that
Saccharin.
90s movie kind of Schindler's
Yeah,
List kind of sheen to it. That's
yeah.
okay. At least like it has like real people in it. They're in a real place, and
No, I get where you're coming from, but for all those Shawshank Redemption lovers out there who haven't seen this film,
Shawshank
I
heads.
mean, if you love Shawshank, you're gonna love this because it's. I can't see how you wouldn't.
This is like super stripped back, very stripped. There's no internal element to it at all. It's all
No.
external, and yeah, it's just all right in front of you.
So Doc loses his painting privileges, never see him again. And that's sort of the last straw for Frank Morris. I mean, I don't think they have any official plans to escape before this
Well,
point.
yeah, I think yeah, he has the nail
He's like thought
clippers.
about it. Right. He has the nail
Yeah,
clippers, but he hasn't acted on it.
not really. No, And of course, along with punishing Doc, they've also punished him as well. Like he gets into a fight with a guy and they throw him in the shoe, or I think they
Whatever
call it
it's
the shoe in
called.
The Great Escape. They call it D block in this
D
movie,
block.
where
Yeah,
it's just a cell that has no light and you can't do anything in it.
it's awful. And they
And they
spray you with
they
a fire
spray,
hose.
yeah, they
It's
spray him with the
awful.
fire hose, which is terrible. And yeah, and he gets out and he's just like, wow, that sucked. Like it clearly had an effect on him. And The Great Escape, they do that to Steve McQueen. If you remember, they
Yep.
do that to Steve McQueen. That's like part of his role where he does things that keep getting him put into the shoe,
Yeah.
but it seems like it never affects him. He just remember he always has a ball and he bounces it on the wall. And I feel like after
Yeah.
a while, the ball would probably get a little boring, but he keeps on going back in. But in this movie, he's in it for not very long, which I
Like
feel like
couple
is
days,
probably a little
maybe.
bit more realistic
Yeah.
effect. Yeah, he's just like completely like fuck that.
I mean, it seems awful. I can't even imagine the horror of being put in a situation like that, which of course is still done in some prisons today, but that's another topic for another time. But Clint Eastwood will have none of it anymore. He can't do it. He can't handle the awfulness that is this place. And now that his two comrades, I'm guessing they've done robberies together or something like that.
Are you talking about like the Fred Ward character and the other guy, the Jack
Yeah.
guy, Jack Thibault,
Yeah.
Thibault? I'm looking at the actors' names. Fred Ward, I love Fred Ward. He's a great actor. Rest
Always
in
great.
peace. He died last year, I think.
It's too bad.
He's
R.I.P.
good in like Tremors.
Hmm.
Yeah, like they're eating, and he's talking to those two guys, and I think he's also talking to the other guy that shows up later, Butts,
Oh, Charlie Butts.
Charlie Butts. Yeah, yeah, he shows up and so Clint Eastwood and Morris, and he talks to the three guys, and he's just like, hey, you know what? Those grates, he's saying like the prison is old and
Yeah,
the walls are kind of weak. So over time, and it's super simple and it's super great, you can just kind of chip away at the walls of the grate, and you can remove the grate and you can get into the wall. And then he kind of like everybody is, and then Fred Ward's character is like, I work in laundry. Like, what should I do? And they're like, oh, maybe we could like put a raft together with all the. So they're putting together this elaborate, maybe not elaborate, very quite simple
yeah.
plan. All it is that they're just trying to get into the walls, get over out of the prison, and then they get a raft to swim across the bay to Angel Island. That's it.
Angel Island. That's it. That's the whole plan. And I think it works because it's so simple. I think if you try to
Yeah.
overcomplicate the plan with all these
Well, yeah, and
various
escape
factors, it just wouldn't work.
and back then they didn't really have the kind of technology we do now. So it kind of makes sense
Right.
that maybe a prison movie made today would be more complicated, but which is fine. I'm thinking of like even heist movies too,
Sure.
like Ocean's 11 or something like that, like
Right. Like
20 years
Ocean's 11
later.
compared to what's that one we watched? My friend
Eddie Coyle.
Eddie Coyle. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like the difference there. Like their heists were very simple. They would just walk into a bank and rob it.
that's a good
His
point.
plan,
Yeah, yeah.
but
Yeah, but Ocean's 11 or something like that. Yeah, it's like they have to have like this team of professionals to like bust
right.
into a vault, not a bank, but a vault, and
Yeah.
yeah, because there's just more technology. The security technology is more complicated and difficult to maneuver. And back then, it was just like a locked door. That's it, and guys have guns and they have like the towers with like rifles, which are very apparent, and like spotlights, and that's pretty much it.
But the stakes are still intense. I mean, every time
Yeah.
he's chipping away, you can constantly hear the
Oh,
steps of
it's so good.
guards. It's
The
and
the
it's
tense the
so
tense the tension
slow.
in the movie's great tension
Oh,
in the movie. The whole thing is so good. When that whole part of the movie where he's like you said, they're working on escaping, very tense throughout.
my palms were sweating for like because that's
Yeah.
the last basically hour of the film is the
Yeah.
escape plan itself, which I mean, I guess if you name a movie Escape from Alcatraz, a large portion of the film does have to be about
It's gonna
escaping.
be about escaping. Yeah.
But it's great because it's just like they're chipping away and then they have to build a little I don't know. They attach it to like a spoon. Even like the way they get the
I love that
spoon,
shit.
even that
That
is
is so
clever.
cool. When he gets, yeah, when they're like eating and he yeah, like distracts the guard to get like a second spoon, and then in his cell, like using like this weird like using like these like bundle of matches to melt the spoon to like the,
Yeah.
oh my, that is so good.
It's just so thoughtful on every little detail. It's as if these people actually went to the prison and thought, like, how do we actually escape it? There's no ex machinas, there's no scapegoats.
I
It's like we got
believe
to figure
like,
this shit out.
yeah, I this movie is based off a book.
Okay.
So, and I think that there was a guy who was left behind. So maybe he provided
Maybe
information
he,
on how
yeah.
some of this stuff went down, I think.
Which from the beginning, you know, it's going to be Charlie Butts. You can see it in his eyes.
He doesn't have the guts.
He doesn't have the guts. Sad. Well,
You get his background too.
you
With,
do.
I was talking about with English, he goes and talks to his daughter, which is sad. And then at the same time, he's talking to his wife, Charlie Butts is. And that's really sad too. Because and Butts, it sucks with him too. Like he explains to Clint, he explains to Morris how he got in, and it's just kind of like it's kind of fucked up. He like stole a bunch of cars, and then like he
Stole
was in
cars.
prison, and
Mm-hmm.
he to get back at like I think a cop or something like that, or
Or
a
like a warden or
warden.
something.
He stole
Something like
his
that.
cop, but then after he stole it, he drove it across state lines, and then it became a
Which made it a
federal
federal.
issue,
Yeah.
and now he's in Alcatraz, and it's like, oh, that sucks.
Just
Like, I
terrible
don't
luck.
know.
Just the worst
Yeah.
luck in the world.
Yeah, it's just kind of obviously he probably should have stopped stealing cars, but yeah, it kind of sucks to like he didn't kill anyone, or
No. He didn't really even hurt anybody. I mean, he
not
didn't do
really.
anything good. We're not suggesting people should go out and steal cars, but
No, no,
in the grand
no.
scheme of things, relative to what, although that's the weird thing about Alcatraz is all of the people we meet in Alcatraz, which I guess we don't know all their backstories, but none of them are like rapists or killers. They're just
As
all
far as we
people that have been
know,
pissed off, as far as we know. I mean, I'm sure there is, but like all of the ones we meet, they've mostly just pissed people off.
Morris didn't. Yeah, I think it's established that he doesn't kill people or didn't. I think they just established that
I don't
he's
think
like a
so.
crook or like a
He's a
criminal.
crook. He's done larceny. He's done bank robbery. The only thing we know about his background is from that one conversation with the warden at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
They never really mention it again. I don't think there's any real mention.
At least in the universe of this movie, it's like the people
Right.
in Alcatraz are people that have just somehow, yeah, made the wrong people angry, and now they have to like be here. They have to be banished to. It's such a cartoonish like comic book thing to like Alcatraz Island, like a prison put on like a uninhabitable island like off of San Francisco. Like that's such a like a comic evil villain comic book thing. I don't know.
It is right out of Batman or
Yeah.
something like it, right?
Like Arkham, yeah, like Arkham
Yeah.
Asylum
Arkham.
shit. Like yeah,
But Frank Morris, he's down on the plan. He's building fucking spoon things and he's chipping
it's so
away.
cool.
Every time he chips away is so intense. I mean, so much time of this movie is just watching him chip at a grate, which sounds incredibly boring. And yet
I assure you it's not.
it's it's some of the most exciting moments in film history. I mean, my God, who knew chipping away at a piece of concrete could be so entertaining?
Well, I also love the scene where he tries to leave through the metal detector with the
Oh,
little thing.
brilliant. He's got that superior IQ, man.
He's got the superior IQ. He also happens to have a shoe that has like a thing in it for some
so he
reason. How did that happen?
so I think he like cut the bottom of the shoe, but then you
Okay.
only cut part of it, so then like you could turn it.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Or he built it, I don't know, he's in the carpentry shop. It can't be that hard to build. Like it's basically just like one screw in a shoe.
You're probably right about that. Yeah, you're right. He like it probably isn't that hard. You're right about that. Yeah. But yeah, he
But
like he like takes two, and yeah, it's so good.
what a great moment.
Yeah, he fools them. He fools their
He
asses.
fools
He like
them.
completely and of course like they make like the fake grates which don't look super convincing, by the way. They look just okay.
Yeah.
It's
But I
kind of
think
hilarious. Yeah, it's kind of hilarious that they I was like watching them like, do they search their cells? And then they eventually do. And I'm like, oh crap, like, but they don't notice anything.
yeah, well, So my theory on this, the reason they never notice the vent or the really bad fake hair thing. I mean, partly because they're given
It's I
limited
mean, I guess it's
options. I mean, they gotta
shadowy.
make paper mache. But yes, it's shadowy, it's dark, it's at night, so all these people are tired. They're probably not at their top. But then also, I think of that Edgar Allan Poe story, The Letter, where they put the letter right in front of them, but they can never find it
Right.
because
I
it's
see what you
in
mean.
plain sight. And I think he's kind of playing
Yeah.
off of that same idea where, and of course, it's all the more tense, right? When the warden
Yeah,
goes in
yeah.
there and he searches, and like you see the grate, and you're like, oh shit, is he gonna get caught?
Yeah, I my favorite is when the cop notices Morris sleeping, and
Yes.
he's had his
And he
paper
reaches
mache.
in.
He reaches That's such a good ass scene when he like reaches in and you're like,
Oh
I
my
can't
God.
believe it. It's gonna and
It's
then Clint
over.
Eastwood is in bed. I was like, they got him.
It's
Like,
like, oh
that's such a beautiful quick second scene where the cop rightfully is like, all right, something doesn't seem right. And he
no.
reaches in, but
Something
he's too late.
sus.
He should have done it earlier, but he was too late.
Too late. So wonderful, so patient, so slow. So much time is taken into the escape. And I think another great thing about this is instead of just like we have a plan and then like we just go through the plan and it just kind of all happens at once. This one is like broken into parcels in which he chips away. He has to figure out how to break the vent. He then leaves his room, but then spends like another month or whatever, some
Because
arbitrary
he's
amount
like
of
checking it
time.
out. Yeah.
He's got
Yeah.
like checking it out because he's got the superior IQ, man. He's got a plan. He's got to get ready. He's got to. They build a drill with a fan and a drill bit. Another incredible moment.
Yeah. That was great too. Yeah. Yeah. And he has like the accordion too that he's using to
Yes.
he's kind of like using in the case and stuff to like take things and like hide shit behind it and stuff like that. And yeah.
I love that moment where he steals the fan and they're walking out of the music room and Charlie
Mm,
Butts is like super nervous
yeah.
and the guards are like
Good scene.
super sus because due to his
He fools
nervousness,
their ass. He fools them
but
again.
he fools them. Classic reverse psychology. They're like, Morris, you want to search your case? And he's like, here you go. You're like, oh shit, they're gonna catch him. He's got the fan. They're gonna
That's
figure
it.
it all out.
Dude, it's right there.
But they miss
And they're
it. They
like,
miss it
no,
again.
we're gonna look through Charlie's. Yeah.
Another
I don't
insane
know.
moment.
It would be really funny if this is how it actually happened. It's like it's like it comes so close to like falling apart.
So intense. But a wonderful escape plan. They chip away, they break the vent, they climb the back areas, they drill through different things. And all this is going on. And the Warren is getting sus. He doesn't like the Charlie Butts
He's
and
yeah.
Morris.
He's rightfully suspicious.
He thinks something is off. And so, of course, we learn that Morris is going to be moved the next Tuesday or whatever.
Which I don't think they know. I don't think he Morris knows that
No,
yet.
they never know it.
Yeah,
Like
he
I thought
doesn't
that
know
was
it.
going to be part of it, but they never know it. They just
No,
happen
it
to
just
leave beforehand.
we only know about it. We only know
Right. We
about
as,
like that happening.
but they decide to leave early because of the threat of the one guy, the guy with the shiv and the knife. I think that's why they leave early.
Oh, right. They're scared that that guy is gonna kill him. Gonna kill Morris. Yeah.
Rightfully so. That man is terrifying.
Yeah, he's a terrifying guy, and he's been like in D Block forever, so he's like pumped up. And you have that scene too where yeah, like they're chilling, right? They're chilling on the grounds, and he gets like a piece of glass, and he's like about to go stab him, but in English he swoops in and he stops him
Swoops in.
because he's not escaping, but he respects the effort, and he respects the tenacity of it. He English doesn't want to do it. I think he lives there now. That's kind of where he is now,
It's his
which
home.
is sad. That yeah, it's his home. It's sad that you have to kind of like that he accepts it and that you want him to also escape. You like that character, but he's not willing to do that, which is okay. But he's willing to give a helping hand to his buddy.
Yeah, it sort of reminds me another film that has prison in it, although not a prison escape movie, is Paul Schrader's The Card Counter, in which
Right.
Oscar Isaac's character coming out of prison feels like he still has to live his life, which is actually a very common thing for people who come out of prison who've been in prison a long time. And part of the reason they typically go back to prison is due to the fact that they can't adapt to world outside of prison because it's so different, and prison has created its
It
own little.
essentially hollows them out.
Yeah, exactly.
And
And I
that's kind
think
of the
that's
point.
what happened in English. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the point too of the first half of the movie, is to demonstrate how a place like this can hollow out a person.
Yeah, absolutely. But Morris won't have any of it. He's breaking out. He builds the paper mache little head, which is very good, by the way. I mean, relative to what he has, he's using the
Those are really
concrete.
silly. It's kind of, sometimes it's kind of funny when they're in their cells and they're like working on something. It's like,
Yeah.
can no one hear them like doing any of this stuff? Like,
Well, they're
it's
doing it
in
at
a really
night,
big. I know, but it's like their cells are completely open. There's no privacy. Everybody can see what everybody's doing. It's like a really big cacophonous, like big hall. You figured, I don't know, something would slip by, somebody would say something about whatever, but I guess not.
it's not. They're just that skilled. They're that
I
good
guess,
at
yeah.
what they do. All the more
Superior
intense.
IQ.
That's superior.
Superior IQ means that you're really quiet. You can be really quiet.
But they do all the things, man. They build the paper mache. They build their little vents. They drill through the whatever the air vent thing. He breaks the little metal bars, which by the way, that seems very like physically challenging because they all really do it. They all like grab onto
They
those
all really
bars.
like jump up at, like, yeah, they jump up like, yeah. It's
It's
like,
very
what the
impressive.
hell? Okay. Okay, all right, guys. Like, yeah. But they also kind of look like they're struggling. Like, they're not like,
Oh
it's not
yeah.
like Arnold
It's not
where it's
easy.
like,
No.
like it's,
They don't cut
it's like
away,
they kind of have to like struggle to
which is
like force
great.
themselves up there. Yeah, it's very good.
Like it's very clear that they didn't just get like a stunt double or just like cut away so they make it look easy. They're like, no, we're gonna watch these
Yeah, I
guys
think
struggle to
it
get
seems
up
like
there.
it seems like everybody did their, there's not like
Oh
any
yeah.
stunts, but I don't think there were any doubles. Yeah.
No. No, it's great. I think it's wonderful. And I think it could have been done either any other way. But poor Charlie Butts, he can't go through with it.
Yeah, that's pretty sad.
It's a pretty intense moment when they decide,
And
okay,
that moment
today's the
ends with
day.
him too, where it's like, yeah, like he doesn't leave and then that's it. You don't see him again.
Yeah. Yeah, ugh, that's so heartbreaking because they decide today's the day we leave, and they all start their escape plan.
Mhm.
And Morris is kind of waiting for him. Like he waits a minute. He's like, "Come on, Butts, come on!" Like they
Yeah,
know
he
what time
tries
it
so
is.
yeah, he waits so long and it's like, oh.
And then that moment where they climb up, you're like, "Fuck, how is that gonna work?" And you see Butts crying.
Yeah, he's like
Like,
crying a bunch.
God damn, this is intense. But then he decides to go. Butts like, "I'm gonna go," which is even more
Yeah, it's super
heartbreaking.
frustrating. Yeah, it's very frustrating because then yeah, he gets to the part where he has to climb up and he can't do it. Like he just can't. He's not tall enough
No.
to
Yeah, you
like
can't.
jump up there and get it.
Right, which they actually reference earlier on because
Yeah.
when Clint Eastwood tries to reach up to it, like you can't jump to it; it's too high. You have to have
Right.
someone like
You
helping
need a
you up
boost.
there.
Yeah.
And they're cutting between that and the others like getting away with their escape, and it's intense and stuff. But whenever they cut back to Butts, it's just like you just want him so bad because his life is
Yeah.
so sad, and you really
Yeah,
want
it
him to
sucks.
escape. And like you
He's
said,
also
that's the
like,
last you see him.
yeah, yeah, that's it. And he does spend time like chipping at the grate, so
Yeah,
he's like done it.
I mean, he does all
Um,
the things. He creates the paper mache. He creates the vent, but
too bad.
too bad.
He missed the window.
He sure did. But they fucking do it, man. I mean, they go
Yeah,
through all the
they
things.
did it. They escaped from Alcatraz, as the title suggests.
And what an intense escape it is. I mean, all of the hiding from
It's good.
the great moments where like they'll put a spotlight because like they'll drop something or like a sound will make and you'll see the spotlight like slowly move over
Yeah,
near
that part's
them.
all that's good. All that's very well done. Yeah. Yeah.
Wonderful.
It's still I knew how the movie ended, but I
Yes.
thought the movie was still really tense. Well, I even like I've seen the movie before. Like I said, like
Yeah.
I realized I saw the movie. So I know what happens in the end. But I thought like everything about the movie was really tense up until the very end.
Oh yeah. I mean, everything is just so tense. Even though is an escape from Alcatraz and it's pretty obvious what's gonna happen. Despite all that, it's still just one of the most tense movies I've ever seen. And even that last moment, you see them swim away, and you never see them again. You see them leave Alcatraz, but you never actually see them escape, which is interesting. And that final
Well,
moment,
yeah,
yeah,
that is what actually happens, I believe, right? As they say in the text.
right, they never
Yeah, they
find
kind of
him.
keep it open ended.
But that final title card is heartrending because they're like, they never found their bodies, they escaped, but then a year later, Alcatraz closed down. So like, it only lasted another year, and then
Well,
Alcatraz
maybe
did not exist anymore.
well, maybe no, that's fine. I mean, like maybe because of that escape, their escape, it was why it closed down.
Maybe
That's how I read it.
it's how you see it.
I read it as like the escape being one of the reasons why it closed down. And even if Alcatraz did close down, they would still be in federal prison. It's probably no better than anywhere else in the world, in the country, in
I
terms
mean,
of
that's a good
prisons.
point.
So
Federal prison
they
doesn't seem like a
escaped.
great
Not only
place.
did they escape, yeah, not only did they escape from Alcatraz, but they escaped from prison. They no longer have to be in prison anymore. They escaped it. At least, like, I think I read that like most likely they did escape and then they were never found. But there's also a chance that they drowned,
Yeah, I mean,
as they say at the end.
right, because they say like they never found their bodies, but they're
Yeah,
also in the ocean. So if you go to the bottom of the ocean, it can't be that
it would.
easy to find a body.
It's probably really hard to find a body, even though, yeah, they say in the end title card like they would have definitely found them, but then they found
Yeah,
nothing. So obviously
hard
at
to
the end, the
say.
warden is on Angel Island, and there's a chrysanthemum on there. So obviously,
Yeah,
in the universe or
of the
mind
movie,
of the
they
movie,
escaped.
they escaped.
Which I like that. I like that in the world of the
It's
movie, they
great. Yeah,
definitely escaped. But in the real world, did they escape? Hard to say. You
recent
think they did?
investigations. I think I read on
Oh,
Wikipedia
okay.
that recent investigations maybe point to the fact that I think they did escape. I think.
Wow. Good for
Um,
Frank Morris. Well, I don't know about good
this
for.
the three dudes. Yeah.
That's
But I
awesome.
mean, still, it's not conclusive.
Fascinating. Well, that's Escape from Alcatraz. That's the movie, man.
Yeah, it's a pretty cut and dry movie. I mean, it's not really like a movie. I don't know. I guess like I'll give my final thoughts just
Yeah.
getting into it. I mean, it's not really like a movie that's like extremely like it's not a super impressionistic movie. Once again, it's just one of those movies that's very external. You see it all in front of you. But I will say that it's a movie that really doesn't have much fat in terms of like the goal that it's trying to accomplish, escaping from Alcatraz. The writers and sequel, they give you little bits here and there of all the different characters and their personalities and their backgrounds and stuff like that. But for the most part, pretty everything is pretty held back, which I do like. So, you're left with just a really solid, rock solid. By the way, this movie would make a great double feature with the Michael Bay film The Rock, in which Sean Connery and Nicolas Cage, people consider it to be his best movie, if not one of his best movies.
Okay. Haven't seen it.
It's a movie in which Sean Connery and Nicolas Cage have to break into Alcatraz to get Ed Harris, who is
Oh,
going to
fun.
launch like chemical weapons or something from Alcatraz Island.
Okay.
Good movie. Anyway, that's just like a side note. But Escape from Alcatraz, rock solid movie, great movie. It's not the most emotionally affecting movie for me, but I do really, really love it. I think it's great. I think it's hard for me to, pick it apart or, it's just kind of, it's just a movie that I think just is completely upfront with what it is and what it contains. And, that's great. And, I'm giving it a 8 out of 10.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think this movie is bare bones in the best of ways. I think of Don Siegel's other movies, and this one is definitely not nearly as flashy as, say, Dirty Harry, which is very
That one's
stylistic in
pretty
its way.
external, but that one is more, that one has more comedy in it.
It sure does.
Maybe even more violence as well.
Oh yeah, I would say so. But the beauty of this film is that it is so bare bones, is that it's so stripped back, and I think that makes it all the more powerful. And it's such an intense film to experience. I find myself hollowed out by the world of Alcatraz in the most powerful of ways. I think no one could have done this other than Clint Eastwood himself. He just gives a perfect performance, and everyone in it is just so devout in the roles that they play, and it's very minimalistic in its performances and the set designs and everything about it. And yet I think that's the only thing that works. There's a sort of blankness, this emptiness, this hollowness underneath everything that is so powerful. And those last moments where they're escaping from Alcatraz, I mean, it's just so intense, even though so little actually happens in the film. I mean, it's just he picks away the thing and then gets away and he escapes. As we keep saying over and over again, just very simple, and yet it's just incredibly intense. So I can't help but give this movie a 9 out of 10.
No, it's they escaped. They did
They
it.
did it.
So yeah.
All right, y'all. Thank you for listening. You can find everything I do at Austin Lugo 12.
I'm on Letterboxd at Retro Andrew, RETR0 Andrew.
And you can find this podcast wherever you hear podcasts. You can also find us Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at Theater 42 or With Nothing to Say. And thank you all for listening.
Thank you.